one of the biggest things I said to you, Travis, in the off season was I wanted to make something a little bit better, something we were proud of. And here we are. Shout out to Emerge. Shout out to Tank. Shout out to Moranto.
New beginnings.
New beginnings. Here we are. We haven't made an episode since last season against. I think it was like the.
It was like week 6.
Yeah, it was like mid-season, but here we are. We're back in the flesh, recording, and we're excited. Obviously, a little bit nervous, but here we are. And yeah, Travis, gotta thank you because we wouldn't have been able to really set any of this up without you. And
Tank hooked us up.
He did. Tank hooked us up, and like I said, Moranto hooked us up, and
We wanted to go our own way. We wanted to do it on our own. But when you got the options on the table and you got them coming to you, just go with what's easier.
Go with the flow. So obviously the biggest thing for me and Travis, and if you know us outside of the podcast and you know us outside of really anywhere, we're big Bills fans, football fans. And
We're football 24/7.
24/7, as you can tell. I don't know about your girlfriend, but my girlfriend usually.
She dreads this time of year.
I was just about to say I was just in the car with Olivia. I was just in the car with Olivia. I think it was yesterday, and I was like, Olivia, can't you just be happy that I'm happy with football season being back?
Now, my girlfriend, she's 50-50. She's on NFL because of the good-looking quarterbacks and the good-looking players. And on the other side, she's like, oh, Sundays are gone. Thursdays are gone. Mondays are gone.
What team does your girlfriend like?
Man, she's...
What jersey did she wear in that one picture?
Oh, she wore a Ryan Tannehill jersey.
Jackie better be watching this. And Jackie's watching this. We need to take that damn jersey out of your wardrobe. Ryan Tannehill's not a good quarterback, and the Miami Dolphins are not. No, I don't
She likes Derrick Henry, though. That's... Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. No, but yeah, like I was getting at, main thing with the podcast is Bills. That's what it was about last year. That's what we're here for.
BillsAholic.
BillsAholic.
How did that name come about?
Well, if you want the real story, we were driving home and we were like, damn, we can't think of a name. And we were like, let's just put it in the random name generator. And it was like the top one that popped up. And I was like, that's it. And I said it to you and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We wanted to go the tailgating way.
It's a really good play on words. As you can tell by our logo, the intro, we wanted to go the tailgating route. And I think there's nothing else that the Bills are Bills fans are more notorious for is going through tables and drinking just a shitload of beer and getting really drunk. And that's why I think the BillsAholic podcast is like the perfect name. I mean, it's like we're addicted to the Bills football. We're addicted. We're Bills Mafia through and through.
Through and through,
baby. The biggest thing for us is, and I touched on it when we first got into it, was I wanted to make something I was a little bit more proud of. And I felt like last year that's why we had to step away. As I put on all of our social medias, I just felt like we weren't producing the content that we felt like we were able to really do. And
yeah, we had so much to talk about, but we had so little resources.
Yeah, and here we are. I mean, it's night and day, and it's definitely really exciting. The biggest thing of the day for me and you, Travis, that I definitely think we gotta tap into here is, what did we do just about an hour ago?
We got into the Emerge Fantasy Football Draft.
We're gonna talk about the Emerge Fantasy Football
We
Draft.
did get the first overall pick.
If I can. We're gonna try to bring this baby home. This is the Emerge Lombardi Trophy, and this is hopefully gonna be on our set after we win this year. Travis. Amen. We're gonna try our hardest here. Travis, if you want to pull up our team, maybe talk about our team.
We drafted a young team. It's a young team, but I think it can get past some weeks.
Yeah, I mean, so first overall pick. Just to touch on it, we had the first overall pick, and as you know, the snake drafts go when you got the first overall pick. You don't pick for what feels like 100 years. We went Justin Jefferson first overall. I felt like that was pretty much just a lock. That was locked in when we figured out we had the first overall pick about 2.5 weeks ago.
I failed to get Justin Jefferson in 2 straight drafts.
Here you are. And the important one.
The other draft.
We bring home the first Lombardi Trophy for Bills Mafia.
Other draft, I had the second overall pick. I thought for sure they were gonna pick Jamar Chase, but I was wrong. I'm finally happy. I'm happy to finally get him on my squad.
Yeah. So when we rolled around what we got Tony Pollard. So we went Justin Jefferson, Tony Pollard. I drafted Tony Pollard in I think 5 fantasy leagues this year, and I have him on about 3 out of the 4.
He's RB1.
Well, he was, and obviously with the Zeke stuff last year, it felt like he was RB1 most of the time.
He was putting up crazy points.
He was, and I picked him up in like waivers in like week 2. Like I don't even know if you remember that.
I don't. I remember you having him on your team. I didn't think you picked him up on waivers.
I picked him up in waivers week 2 or 3, something early. Didn't have a quarterback or anything like that, so I needed to start getting some points somewhere, and I ended up getting Tony Pollard week 3, and then later on in the season got Justin Fields before he started doing what he did because he just kind of,
He was a running back.
Yeah.
Running back.
Right. Now let's just go through the team. For the Bills, we had to go ahead and get Josh Allen. And it was early, but come on. We wouldn't be a Bills podcast without having Josh.
That's our God. That's our God.
That's our Lord and Savior, Josh Allen. Rolled around, got him. Jahmyr Gibbs, George Pickens, George Kittle.
Another running back one.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Your next one, Alexander Madison.
Alexander Madison. You told me you got in my ear early about that.
He's in my league.
Yeah. And then we got JSN, Mike Williams, Daniel Carlson in the Eagles defense. And then I had to take a shot at Tank and go ahead and get Anthony Richardson, prodigy. The guy that's
the next Josh Allen.
That's what they're saying, baby. That's what they're saying. And then Damian Harris, another Bill.
Had to.
Pacheco, Adam Thielen. This one hurt when Travis said it. Allen Lazard. Not playing him week 1. There's no way against that Bills.
We're not playing him, but
there's just no way.
He's got that connection with Aaron Rodgers.
Travis, we went Pat Freiermuth, and then you, because we had Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Went got Jacoby Myers, the guy that threw the ball to Chandler Jones in the middle of the field. Still one of the stupidest moves I've ever seen. Like not that big.
Is he the one that got smushed to the ground too? Who got smushed?
So, I don't know who got smushed to the ground, but
Mac Jones.
Was it Mac Jones?
No, it was Mac Jones that got stiff on.
Stevenson threw it.
Yeah. Oh, was it Stevenson that threw it? I thought it was.
Myers was on. He was on the Raiders.
No, I thought Jacoby Myers. Didn't Jacoby Myers throw the ball in the middle of the field to Chandler Jones and it got?
I think it was Ramondre. I could be wrong.
No, I think it was Jacoby Myers that threw it in the middle of the field, and then
check
Chandler. We'll have to check the film on that one.
We'll get back to you.
But he's on the team. So that Travis, I thought it was an all-around solid draft. Like you said, we went kind of young.
We went young. We went young with a lot of studs.
We did go with a lot of studs. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I think my favorite pick might have been the Jahmyr Gibbs pick. I'm really excited.
You're really high on him this year.
It's because I think he's going to be like an Alvin Kamara. Like I'm not the only one that thinks that, and the only reason that I thought that is because like all the higher up NFL analysts have just kind of gotten in my ear about it, and it's just like I can see it. I also like that I think that Detroit's really going to use it like that, and we'll see Thursday. We're real close.
You got an upset coming? You think Lions upset the Chiefs? I think they're without Kelsey and Jones on defense.
I'm just going to say
Chris Jones. He's still seeking a contract.
This is going to hurt to say on a Bills podcast. I'm not betting against Patty Mahomes, baby. I'm not betting against him.
I don't blame you.
I think the Chiefs come out on top. And then, No, it might be close. Like, it might be real close. The Lions, obviously, they're a solid football team.
They may surprise a lot of teams this year. Shoot, they were in a slugfest with us last year on Thanksgiving.
They were. They gave us a hard time. But that was like right in that like weird time where Josh Allen had the elbow injury and Von Miller
It was that game.
Was it that game?
It was that.
It wasn't the Browns game. It was the Lions game. It was the Thanksgiving.
It was Thanksgiving game.
Because it was 1 year removed from Trey White.
Exactly 1 year.
Yeah. Wow. I'm so glad we're not playing on Thanksgiving this year.
Not this year.
So glad we're not playing on Thanksgiving this year. No, but one thing that I know we definitely wanted to tap into was Wingfest. That was really cool.
That was
the second year doing it.
That was my first.
Oh,
that was my first.
You didn't go the year before.
Something came up last year.
So,
can't remember what it was, but
I think it's kind of cool that it was your first. You popped your Wingfest cherry. Tell me, man, what was your favorite chicken wing?
You guys were hyping up PB&J all year. Where were they from? Ohio?
I think Ohio. I just can't remember the name. I know the 10 right next to it's going to piss me off was Millie's.
Yeah,
like
they had good wings too.
Millie's was solid. For the life of me, can't remember what that 10 was.
No, but PB&J, you guys you guys were hyping up all year. I had to try it. I think I went back for like seconds and thirds because like some people may think peanut butter and jelly on a wing. No, that it was flavorful. It was good, especially you eat a hot wing before, and that it soothes it just a little bit. I had a hot wing from that exact same tent, and then I had the PB&J after. That was real good.
I was kind of like so last year, and I told you we talked about it for weeks. Was that cotton candy nightmare wing?
I told you I wasn't no bitch.
I thought that cotton candy nightmare wing was going to be out. It was something different. It was a hot wing, but it was something different. I don't know if you saw.
My chicken wing was fat. Like
No,
they had mine was big.
And didn't you finished it, right?
I almost
Really
I came really close. Like I wasn't
That was
going for anything less.
that was
Now I'll tell you, I was in line because they did say before when we went to the tent before, and then we came back because I was telling you guys all day that was gonna be my last wing, because I was gonna enjoy my day and then I was gonna end it off with that, and it was. So when I was in line, I asked them if they had any more cotton candy nightmare, and they said yeah. Now they have like a bucket like this big, filled with like what's in it? Was it horseradish or it was some type of like super hot.
it was definitely horseradish. For life, I don't know if I can.
There was something else in it. It was something. But they had like a bin like this big dedicated to the cotton candy nightmare. It wasn't in a.
She was talking. She was talking about that when I got a wing. She was talking about that.
Yeah.
She was saying that she had like they.
It was a little bin.
Because I asked about the cotton candy nightmare, and she was like, "Oh, we could still make
It was in a little bin like this, and they were shaking that. I watched it. It seemed like forever they were shaking that in there, and they gave it. They honestly ruined it for me too because they got it on my other wing. Not just. So there was that. So it wasn't. It was hot.
So did you try the elote wing?
No.
Have you ever had elote like outside? So like outside.
Was that like the street?
It's called Mexican street corn. So
Yeah. You were talking about it. My name.
Olivia put me on. It's so good. It's so good. It's like it's street corn. It's like rolled in like I think like maybe sour cream. I don't even know. It's like sour cream and like so much like spices and stuff on it.
Right.
Oh my god. Dude.
Just like street corn. Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying like it's like I was saying like have you ever had street corn outside?
No, I can't say I have. I can't say I have.
Had that wing either?
No.
That wing might have actually for me might have beat that PB&J wing, dude.
Really?
Not even gonna lie to you.
Hopefully they're there next year. I'll have to.
Yeah, that was tough. We didn't stay for
The wing eating contest?
Dude, it was hot. It was so hot out there.
Blazing.
It was, and that field was also hotter. Like
We only were on the field for like 5 minutes.
yeah. Well, if you guys have ever been to Wing Fest, I'm sure you know like it seems to like drag when you're watching this people on the stage. Like the only thing we were really even there for was that blue cheese dunking competition.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
I don't love blue cheese that much.
I love blue cheese, but when you see a grown man's face just absolutely smothered in
I'm a
blue cheese,
Buffalonian,
and it's just dripping from his beard.
but I don't love blue cheese that much.
I love blue cheese. Don't think I'd go swimming.
Now I'll tell you the most interesting wing that I don't think I would ever think of. Did you try the Pop Rocks wing?
I did.
See, when I took a big bite into it, I thought it was gonna be sweet because the candy. So I took a big bite, and I got the spice in my mouth first, and then it was an interesting type of feeling in your mouth. Pause. Let's just skip over that real quick.
Blue cheese, you don't like that?
So it was hot, and then you tasted the Pop Rocks. It popped in the back of your mouth. Pause again. You know what? I'm gonna stop with that wing. I'm 2 for 2. I'm gonna stop with that wing. That was the most interesting wing that I've ever heard of. It was just interesting. I had to try it.
You loved it.
They had a few good dry rubs too.
Yeah,
I was impressed with their dry rubs.
I think I figured out. You might be. Are you a big dry rub guy? Like before you went to that like.
Cause I always got lemon pepper at Barbell.
Well, yeah, lemon pepper at Barbell's legit, and Barbell is just legit in general. I mean, that's best wing in Buffalo. I'm gonna say that right.
Hands down.
First and foremost. But like, I feel like you talked about dry rub a lot before that.
Yeah, dry rub is underrated, I think.
Now let me ask you this, and I'm sure we've covered this because I mean we've been friends for years. We've been going to Barbell for like the last year. Dude, like we talk about wings probably more than we should.
That's for sure.
Drums are flat.
Drums are flat. See, don't like drums because of the veins.
No, that's Ben.
Oh, that's Ben?
Ben doesn't like flats anymore because of the veins. The drums you can get away without the veins. Remember when we talked to Greg Rousseau? Even he said the same thing. Like he was like, oh dude, I loved flats, and then I figured out about that vein. It just threw me off.
Right.
I'm a flat guy all day.
You're a flat guy all day? I like drums. They just have more meat on the bone.
See, I get pissed off at drums because like you dunk it in the blue cheese and it gets like on the part that you really can't eat. Pull up the flats, you can just dunk it in, and then I'm not gonna go ahead and say that what I was gonna say because then it would have just put me on the billboard for like what you just said a couple minutes
I'm
ago.
2 for 2.
I was about to say, dude, no. Let's move on to the week 1 pick'ems before we say something that we're gonna regret here. Obviously Thursday night football, we're almost 1 day away.
I'm excited.
And then we got Thursday night football coming up here in just.
Chiefs or Lions?
We were talking about this a little bit before we started rolling, or maybe we were just talking about this. I'm gonna go Chiefs. Like I said, can't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
I'm gonna agree. I think I'm gonna go Chiefs. Like I said before, Travis Kelce might be out, his number 1 target, but he can always find a way to get people involved.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, he could probably even throw to Joe Tooney for a 20-yard pass. If you want to be honest, he's always getting people involved.
He can do those spin in a circle before the snap.
Did you hear? I saw on Instagram the other day, Andy Reid. He admitted that he called the play in game that he got from a Kansas City Chiefs janitor. I guess this janitor wrote up the play and showed it to Andy Reid, and he's like, I'll think about it. And it was in an NFL game.
And a team like that wins the Super Bowl, and we can't even come close.
It's insane. It's insane.
We got an AFC North matchup, week 1, Sunday, 1 o'clock. We got the Bengals-Browns. I don't think that's going to be too tough for me. I got Bengals.
See, that division always seems to be in a race with each other. Always.
For the most
Well, you got the
part.
Steelers over 500 every single year. You got the Ravens always in it somehow.
Right. I think
But the
Bengals have been,
Right. I think the Bengals from now on, I think the Bengals have a close grip on that division. So I got the Bengals taking that.
Ravens Texans. I think the Texans blow. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Even with the rookie
CJ
quarterback.
Stroud's good, but CJ Stroud came out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Right?
OH.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
You don't think the rookie quarterback's
I'm
gonna?
say what good quarterbacks ever came out of Ohio State? Like
You don't think he's at least gonna carry them to like 6-7 games?
6-7 wins?
Yeah.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance.
I
got like 2 or 3 max.
Let me ask this: do you think C.J. Stroud is better than Bryce Young?
I think the ceiling's higher for CJ Stroud. Like I think he could be a better football player, whereas Bryce Young is right now a better football player in my head. I think CJ Stroud is kind of like, I'm gonna just say Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud to me were like the most appealing quarterbacks in the draft, only because of Josh Allen has just completely changed the whole entire nature of drafting a quarterback. It's no longer like you have to perform in your first year. It's you got a guy like CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson who have like all the tangibles. They're bigger guys. They have strong arms. They're good athletes. I like like what CJ Stroud could be in the NFL. You get the right roster around him. You get the right offensive coordinator. You get like the right people in the building. I think he can be a better quarterback than Bryce Young. But right now, Bryce Young.
As long as you're not talking about that mayonnaise and the coffee guy, I'm all ears.
Oh, Will Levis.
I'm all ears.
I didn't even think that's legit, huh? That's a
Sponsored now.
I was gonna say, did I read that right? That he was sponsored, or was that a meme?
That's legit. Wow.
Man, he's got, what was it, like a lifetime deal?
Mayonnaise in the coffee. What is this with like Heinz or something? I didn't see this.
I forget what. It's a major band.
It's major.
I don't even. That's gotta be.
This came out a few weeks ago.
I must have missed that. I must have missed that. But
If I could unsee it, I would unsee it.
Buccaneers, Vikings. Again, I think this is an easy one for me.
Who's their quarterback?
Like Baker Mayfield.
It was between Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask.
Remember the guy? We'll just go back to another Bills stat. Remember the guy that was picked before? A guy like Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. Do you remember that?
You remember when Baker Mayfield was picked over him? Sam Darnold, who's on like his third team right now.
Baker's on like his third team too. But I think it was Christmas Day. What I'm gonna say here for Baker's, I'm gonna give him a little bit of love. I think it was Christmas Day or right around there. They were playing, I think, the Broncos in that Nickelodeon game. And Baker Mayfield. I think I was sick.
Was that the first ever Nickelodeon's game too?
No.
No?
They've been doing that for I think a couple years.
Oh, okay.
But dude, Baker Mayfield like lit it up. They won like 52 to like 6 or something stupid like that. Maybe we'll get that Baker Mayfield for the Buccaneers. He's got some talent around him. He's got a decent offensive line. I know Ryan Jensen's down, but they got Tristan Wirfs. He's a pretty good tackle.
He's one of the best, I would say.
And not to mention that he's got
a pretty energetic running back there, second year guy.
Boy,
Rashad White.
And then he's
I'm high on him.
Good receiving core around him.
Yeah.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are some of the best receivers in the NFL when they're healthy.
So you're trying to persuade me to get Bucks over Vikings, or?
No, I just went on that long rant just
okay.
to say the Vikings are probably going to beat the Buccaneers. I'm going to be serious. Vikings over the Bucks.
So how much you think Kirk Thuggins is going to go?
Well, okay, so like what are we saying? How many touchdowns? How many yards?
How many points do you think is he going to drop on the Bucks?
I'm going to be honest with
You think he has another year again?
I think he has a decent year. I'm going to say 28 points.
28
points they drop. I'm not going to go into a score because I fucking suck at that.
I will say, after watching the quarterback documentary on Netflix, he's easily one of my favorite quarterbacks I like. I used to not like him because, all the chains on the plane.
He was like
doing this, and then he beat our asses in the nail biter last season. I used to not like him. He's one of my favorite now after watching that.
I will say, after watching the quarterbacks documentary, I have a different respect for Kirk Cousins. Like,
outside of football, he's just a family man.
He's a great guy, but you watch that documentary and it was, dude, I mean, he was banged up the whole entire year.
Injury after injury.
So he came into Buffalo absolutely like
his ribs.
His ribs were just a mess.
And then he said he got a little bit better before the Bills game, right? And then the Bills defense got to him, and he was on the sideline. He's like, they're busted.
I'm not even gonna get into the story of what happened that game with me about how
stupid ass Cam Lewis.
Oh yeah, about how Cam Lewis almost got my ass kicked. No, all right. So again, a long story just to say the Vikings are probably gonna beat the Bucks. We've got a little bit of a shit fest with the Panthers and the Falcons. Not sure how many people are gonna be watching that one.
Where's it at? Is it in Carolina?
I think that's in Atlanta.
It might only be on TV. In Atlanta. Or unless you're like 2-3 hours away, it'll be on TV. Then it'll cut off.
Give me the Panthers.
I got the Panthers also. I got Bryce Young taking home his first W week 1.
And we're not gonna talk too much about that one.
No, not at all.
Cardinals,
Another sleeper.
Really hope that this one's not on the TV when I have to. Oh god, dude, I just realized the Bills don't play on Sunday, dude. Like, it just hit me. There's a chance we're gonna have to watch one of these slugfests.
It's looking like it.
Give me the Commanders.
I'm going with the Commanders too. Like the Cardinals. Who is their quarterback?
Joshua Dobbs.
Joshua Dobbs?
Fucking Dobbs. You didn't hear that down the draft? You didn't hear that? Didn't hear about that?
He almost got selected.
He almost went in like the 4th round.
I must have skipped over that.
Joshua Dobbs, baby.
Where's
Josh? Wait, don't.
Give you
Don't
what?
give me Josh Dobbs. Don't give me Josh Dobbs here. Give me the Commanders. I almost just went back on myself.
Give you Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
We're spending way too much time on the Commanders.
Yeah.
They don't deserve the light of day.
Jags and Colts.
We got a
Tinkstein.
Colts fan in the room here. He's got
Boots on the ground.
He's gonna say his Colts hat on.
Dealer, baby.
I'm sorry, Tank.
Sorry, Tank. You're gonna be. Yeah, that's a long ride home, man. That's a long long ride home.
Are you driving or flying?
I'm driving.
That's a long ride home, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it'd be a lot more fun to watch than any game last season. So.
Hey,
Especially with that quarterback. Give me the Jaguars.
I think the Jags. They're gonna go far this year. We got a little taste of them last season, and then they just add another weapon in Calvin Ridley.
Which, by the way, I've been drafting I feel like I've drafted Calvin Ridley in almost all my leagues. We almost got him here, but
He didn't fall to us.
Moranto took him.
Couple picks before.
Moranto got we were sitting there.
I think it was Zach.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Still
there was.
Moranto.
I was. Oh yeah, yo. Here we go. But there was definitely a point where we had like two guys back to back. Where me and Travis were like, all right, we're gonna go here. We're gonna get this guy. And we're gonna circle back and get this guy. And then they just went back to back. I don't
That
think
one round, it was Rashad White, and
I think that's where Moranto went. Was Rashad White.
there was two guys back to back that we wanted, and we're like, nope. Back to the drawing board. Michael
Rashad
Ga-
White, Michael Gallup. We were hoping to get back to back. We were really getting off topic here.
Yeah, we are.
Jaguars over the Colts.
Jaguars.
Sorry. 49ers Steelers. Here we go. We got a good game. Here. Hopefully Ben's watching this. Him and his Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be a real. I actually wouldn't mind if that's. I don't know if that's on CBS or Fox. Wouldn't mind if that's the game.
It is a 1 o'clock game.
That's definitely the most interesting game I've read so far.
Niners and Steelers.
That's
Those are
gonna be
two
good.
tough teams.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be interesting to see Brock Purdy come back after that Philadelphia Eagles injury and that loss that they had in the conference championship. And the Steelers, like you said, you alluded to earlier, the Steelers are always a solid football team with Mike
About
Tomlin.
500.
Like Mike Tomlin said. What did he say in his press conference this morning? I don't know if you heard it. It was like, no one cares. Like, is that I think that's his thing. Like, we don't care or something.
We don't
like
care
that.
week by week, something like that. Some around
the
there.
same guy year in, year out. He's one of the best head coaches in the NFL, no doubt. He's always above 500. So here we go, 49ers Steelers. Gonna be a dogfight. I'm actually gonna take the Pittsburgh Steelers on this one.
Finally, is this the first game that we're gonna split?
But me and you are gonna. Hopefully, we're keeping track of these.
I think-
It's a shame we haven't.
I got him on.
It's all right.
Yeah, so we'll keep track of these.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first game that's gonna split. I just think that Niners defense, I think it's gonna be too much for the Steelers. They only got better. They got big boy Javon Hargrave in free agency from the Eagles. They managed to pull him away from the Eagles in free agency. From one amazing defense to another.
Hey, I like your reason. I really do think Kenny Pickett's gonna take a decent jump. I hope Ben's not getting too excited when I say that. I'm not gonna give him all the credit in the world. I will say that I do think George Pickens is a hell of a wide receiver. I think he's going to be a good talent for him. I think that's a great number 2, number 1, whichever way you want to slice it in Pittsburgh. I know Deontay Johnson.
I respect it.
They're both up there.
Got the young tight end too.
Pat Freiermuth. I just think that offense with
Najee.
I was gonna say, I just keep rolling off these good offensive talents. That's going to be a good fight. That's a good defense versus I'd say a solid offense. And the Steelers defense is obviously pretty good.
Oh, they're always good. When you have T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward and that explosive.
And then they got Pat Pete. They got Pat Pete on the defensive back room, and Levi and Minka Fitzpatrick.
Levi.
Who did they get? So I know they lost Terrell Edmonds this year, and
I don't even know if he signed with the team.
I
Honestly.
think he's with Philly.
Is he?
Yeah, he stayed in the Pennsylvania region, but he's with Philly. I just don't know who they replaced that other safety with after he left. Let me say though, I think that's going to be a pretty good game.
While I'm looking that up,
Titans Saints.
give me. I'm gonna go with the Titans.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go with the Saints.
Yeah.
I'm
You
gonna go
think
with the Saints. I think Derek Carr in
you
his
believe in
first game.
Derek Carr in the first game?
I like Derek Carr in his first game, and I think the Saints have a shot with that one.
Okay. Those Titans, man,
Who are those Titans?
they still got Derrick Henry. They're still a run team. They're still a run first team on offense. They did. I personally think. I know people are gonna sleep on him a lot. They got this dude called DeMonte Kazee,
Is that their starting safety?
and they got Keanu Neal.
Oh, Keanu Neal. Keanu Neal.
pairing up with Minka Fitzpatrick. So it can be any of those two.
Minka Fitzpatrick is one of the best safeties. in the
Yeah.
NFL.
So it's going to be one of those two to start next to Fitzpatrick. And then they got that first-round pick in Joey Porter at corner with Pat Pete.
That corner room is kind of nice.
They picked up Desmond King.
Pat Pete can do what he kind of did last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Those DBs aren't that bad. They got a little bit of depth, veteran depth, and some young guys in there too.
Absolutely. What do you got? Raiders Broncos.
Raiders Broncos. Honestly, I think I might have picked. I did. Last year, it was Russ Wilson saying Broncos country, let's ride. This year, I'm gonna believe in the hype just a little bit, just because they made a head coach move with Sean Payton, and I think he can bring out the best and old, sort of not old Russ Wilson, but sort of old Russ Wilson, if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm trying to get at. I think he's gonna bring the best out of Russ Wilson. I think it's gonna be Broncos country, let's ride. This year.
I think we're gonna have another split here. Just win, baby, win.
Just win, baby.
Give me the Raiders. I like Jimmy G. I think like he's.
Are you digging the Jimmy G to Devontae Adams?
I dig any quarterback that throws the ball to Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Even if there's all those rumors.
Any quarterback that throws Devontae Adams the ball.
I don't know. I'm hearing rumors swirl around that he could be with the New Jersey Jets. Just to follow Aaron Rodgers, just to get his own team back. I've been hearing that stuff.
They got enough, dude.
They do have enough.
I don't even want to talk about them because we're gonna spend like the next half hour just.
After this segment, yes. I'm just hearing rumors. That's not me. I don't want him in the division.
I could take that. I have heard that, but at the same time, where the hell is all this cap? I know where this cap room's coming from.
They just cleared a lot.
Yeah, but all that's gonna catch up at some point. It's gotta catch up at some point.
Shit, I'm still hearing David Bakhtiari to the Jets.
Oh my god. With that, we're gonna go ahead and turn this to Eagles pick.
All right, now this is one of my favorite times because we can now. We can shit on the Patriots.
They're gonna definitely lose this game. There's no doubt.
We can shit on the Patriots now.
Yes, we can. We've been able to do that for the last couple of years, but we're gonna shit on the Patriots.
Division champs. I have another shirt back to back.
We're forfeiting this year.
I hope so, and hopefully we can do something with it.
I hope so.
So we're just gonna say Eagles over Patriots in an absolute.
Super easy. I don't think Zeke's doing really anything for the Patriots. Week 1, Mac Jones is Mac Jones.
They have so. I've been wanting to talk to you about this for forever now. Well, not forever, because cuts were just the other week. So.
For 6 days.
So they cut Bailey Zappi, and they cut their wide receiver / quarterback. What's his face? Malik Cunningham. So their backup, Mac Jones was their only active quarterback on the active 53 roster for a couple days, and then they finally signed Matt Corral to get their backup. Were you expecting them to it's like a complete turnaround at backup quarterback? Because last year, we thought Bailey Zappi was potentially going to take over Mac Jones.
Well, yeah, there was like that game where he came in and like the crowd even was like.
He was doing better. Because Mac Jones played a half, Bailey Zappi played a half. He had the better half. Did he start a game last year? He might have.
Can't really remember. The Patriots, they were so far behind me and what I was thinking.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I pay attention to it, but like at the same time, like I'm not bought into anything the Patriots are doing. Like,
come on, they added Zeke.
The Dolphins, the little noise the Dolphins are making. Okay, that's got my attention. The Jets, obviously, they can't go like a week without making a damn move.
They're first on the plate.
But the Patriots, it's like you got the Jets who are like, okay, let's go out and get Aaron Rodgers. The Dolphins, like, let's go out and get Tyreek Hill and just everybody, Jalen Ramsey, like that they've picked up, and then you've got the Patriots who are like, you know what?
Let's go get Zeke Elliott.
And
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Speaking of Juju Smith-Schuster,
My knee.
he is like apparently like real close to just having just a mess in one of his knees.
I heard his knee is like a ticking time bomb from somebody close with the Patriots. Like his knee's gonna go any day now. But he fired back, of course, and said his knee's fine.
Honestly, who really knows how true all that stuff is? Like at the end of the day, it's all that stuff's just rumors. But yeah, let's go Eagles, Patriots. Obviously the Eagles. Rams, Seahawks.
We got another interdivision game, week 1.
Give me the Seahawks.
I'm believing after a taste of Geno Smith and the Seahawks last year, and they just added JSN. I'm believing in the Seahawks a little bit more. I think, and the Rams, they bought their Super Bowl a few years ago. They're just not it anymore.
Rams are just so far.
Is this like the first year? Well, after I don't want to skip the season or anything, but do they know what a first round pick is after this season? Do they finally know what a first round pick is?
They sent like the whole entire bag
For Matt?
Hey,
It worked.
I said they won a Super Bowl.
It worked.
I would love for the Bills to win a Super Bowl.
It worked.
I also enjoy watching the draft and knowing that my team picks in the first round. Dolphins, Chargers. That's a decent game. That's a good game. That's one that I'll be definitely looking forward to because that's like the 4:25 slate. That's definitely going to be CBS's second game of the day. That'll be one that definitely has my eye.
That's a 4:25 game.
I can't sit here and just be like, I can't spit off a team off the top of my head and just be super confident about it. Obviously, I want the Chargers to win, but I think the Dolphins squeak.
You think the Dolphins squeak by?
I think the Dolphins squeak that one out. Tua, I think he's gonna show some of us Tua haters that are in the room that maybe.
See, I think I gotta go in the Chargers' way, for 2 reasons. One, Dolphins are in our division. They're right being.
There's a little biased opinion there. Okay.
You kidding me?
That's okay.
Second reason, J. Herb. There was talks in the Dolphins a few years ago. That, what was it? The owner wanted Tua, but the coach, who was the coach at the time?
The coach was it Anthony Lynn? Was Anthony Lynn?
Flores, Brian Flores.
We're talking about Miami.
No, a few years ago when Tua and.
You're talking about Miami.
What are you talking about?
You're talking about Miami. I thought we were talking about the Chargers.
Oh no! I'm talking about the Dolphins. I'm talking about first round a few years ago when Brian Flores wanted J. Herb and the management wanted Tua.
I see.
So I think it's a thing like, oh, you guys didn't want me? Watch me.
See, I'm gonna sit here and say like this is gonna be a hot take on the first episode. This might be one of the hottest takes that I'll have just about ever. And I'm gonna sit here and say that I think Justin Herbert is like at his ceiling right now.
Dude,
I don't think there's.
Really?
I think he's at his ceiling.
Really?
I truly do believe that Justin Herbert he's maxed out where he's gonna go. I think he's maxed.
You think he's maxed?
He's had talent around him. Yes, he's had a receiving core that's been like really relatively banged up. I mean, Keenan Allen seems to be on the injury list every other week. I had him on fantasy last year. I think I maybe got to play him a couple times. And then Mike Williams, when he's healthy, he's the guy, but he's also another guy that's pretty severely banged up. Obviously, the Chargers definitely know that. They went out and drafted
Quentin Johnston?
Quentin Johnston.
First round pick.
Quentin Johnston was
TCU.
Was the guy that was on our radar a little bit sometimes.
I did want him.
When we talked about the draft. But I just don't know if I'm bought into Justin
That's
Herbert.
fair.
I love he's another guy where I know I touched on like a quarterback with like size and like the physical like tangibles. He's another guy that I think could be good, but I think he's maxed, man. I just don't think he's gonna be that guy.
Now talk.
That guy, Pell.
Okay. Now I'll touch a little bit on the Dolphins. Tank said it earlier. Tua's a new man. He's tatted, one arm sleeve. He said he took judo.
I like it.
He's a new man. We'll see. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can stay healthy.
There's no excuses for a guy like Tua.
Not anymore.
Tua's got.
He's got the fastest. Can you name a fastest offense?
I can't name
ever?
a faster offense than what they've put together down there. I mean, Tyreek Hill. He pisses me off. I mean, if there was one guy that I would have not wanted to ever be in the AFC East, I would have told you probably Tyreek Hill. Like I could have easily told you that Tyreek Hill would have been the one guy.
He's broken our hearts quite a few times.
I mean, I was just telling Miranda before we loaded this up. I have no expectations for the Bills right now because like I think Tyreek Hill has just absolutely just broke my damn heart. Like that 13 seconds, I hate. I don't say I hate people there.
You hate Tyreek Hill.
I'm a Tyreek Hill fan.
You
But if he came to Buffalo, I'd be all for it.
Well, you might have to.
That'll never happen.
That'll never happen because apparently after the Dolphins, he's done. He wants to go in the management type of things, he said.
So you're going Chargers.
I'm going Chargers.
You're going Dolphins. Packers, Bears.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down. They went out and made a move for that boy.
They got him a wide receiver one.
They did. My boy
They went out and got him.
They did, buddy.
Packers, on the other hand,
They went and didn't. So it's so funny. It's so funny because Tyler, we let me just touch on this because like we talk with Tyler a lot about the draft, our boy Tyler, and he's a big Packers fan, and he's always talking about how like the Packers need to go get a wide receiver one, and then like I feel like we're watching the draft, and then he's just always like, dude, what the fuck are the Packers doing?
slipping down.
It's the same thing every year. It's like a defensive lineman or a linebacker
Or a quarterback when you have Aaron Rodgers winning back-to-back MVPs.
Hey, that's their quarterback right now. Who
Hey.
knows? It might be like the Brett Favre thing where Brett Favre leaves and Aaron Rodgers takes over.
And then 20 years later, we see Jordan Love on the Jets.
Yeah.
Found that Packer tradition.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna go Bears, bear down, and then that leaves us with Sunday night football, the game right before ours.
What would I take? As
the
much as
day before.
I think as much as I hate this pick, I took them. I did.
I think I went Giants over Cowboys.
I took Cowboys.
Another split.
Another split. That's like 3-4 now. That's good. I don't like to be on the same page.
Well, yeah, because then the record's just gonna be the same. And that's just not fun. I just want to whoop your ass. That's the only thing I want to do. Give me the Giants.
That defense, like once again, like the Eagles and the Niners, Cowboys defense, I think is too much for the Giants offense. Do we know Saquon? He signed his contract. He's good to go week 1.
Yeah,
I haven't heard much buzz around him.
He's good to roll week 1. I think he's gonna have a day. My boy Isaiah Hodgins is gonna have a day. Danny Dimes.
I regret that for the Bills letting him go.
Amen.
I regret that.
For my boy Deontay Hardy.
He was making the team anyway.
Davis.
Gabe Davis.
All right, let's get in. Let's dive into it.
We might as
The
well.
most important game of the whole entire week. There's not another game before this that means anything to me. We got Jets Bills. Well, really Bills Jets because we're heading up there to New Jersey because they do not play in New York.
There's only one team.
There's only one team. We made that clear downstairs.
One team.
One team that plays in New York. Obviously, for obvious reasons, you've probably said you got the Bills.
I got Bills all day, baby.
Should I even dare say it?
Go ahead. Get trashed by me.
This podcast.
Get trashed by me.
This podcast might not make it to episode 2.
We might have to kick Chris off. It might be a solo man.
It might just be the Travis podcast.
The door's right there.
I got the Jets.
The door's right there.
I got the Jets. Do you think that felt good saying that? That's on recording.
So, I don't know.
People at work are gonna see that. My dad's gonna see that. I'm not gonna live that down, especially if we win. I want to win. I hope you guys are on my ass. Give me Jets.
I'm gonna shoot an Instagram live video on our Instagram.
Give me the Jets.
Trash and Chris, Monday, September 11th.
Now, but let's dive into the game. I mean, I got the Jets, but do I think the Bills can win? Absolutely. The most important thing is just buddy, keep Aaron Rodgers off the field with that offense. Josh Allen.
You know, personally, I think there's no excuses for this Bills offense. I think we can run the clock down, make splash plays. There should be no excuse for the Bills offense this year.
There's a reason why I'm wearing the Jimbo Cook jersey. It's for a reason.
Jimbo.
I have no doubt in my mind that James Cook. I think the whole year that's the guy. The guy. I said it last year. I was always the biggest Devin Singletary hater. I think we've watched Devin Singletary watch his whole career with the Bills.
See, we don't have.
I'm a Jimbo Cook guy.
I'm
a Jimbo Cook guy.
Okay.
Let me go here.
We're in the future.
I'm about to spit.
Okay, go ahead.
James Cook. If James Cook can be the guy that I think he can be, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to make the Bills' offense they're going to take that next step. Because Devin Singletary, he was always a really solid running back.
We didn't have our disagreements on the Bills topic much. But that was one thing
No, that's the one thing me and you were a Devin Singletary guy, and
I thought he had a lot of heart.
Like,
he's small, but he had a lot of heart. He was always making play. He was always averaging 5-6 yards a play.
He just wasn't that.
That's why he shipped off. That's why he shipped off.
If I was the general manager, I would have looked smart. Jimbo Cook's him. I think James Cook's really going to take that next step this year, and I think he's hopefully going to play a big role here Monday night. I mean, it was evident. We saw it against our boy Tank's Colts in the preseason. That whole first drive, they clearly made it very, very clear that they wanted to hand the football off to James. And they went out and they upgraded the offensive line a little bit for it. Got Connor McGovern, got David Edwards, like you said. That was a solid.
That was solid. I had my eye in.
I still don't know what's going on with that tackle spot.
Saibo.
I mean,
they call him Saibo.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what's going on with that tackle spot. They got my favorite pick in the draft, Osiris Torrance.
Saibo.
There is no doubt that they want to run the ball.
I can't believe we landed Osiris Torrance in the second round. He was supposed to be off the board in round 1.
And I mean, it's weird because like it is super weird because like that's who I wanted in the first round. I was so pissed when we didn't get him, and then all of a sudden it was like when we rolled back day 2, I was like, you just saw him drop, and you're like, holy shit, like
there's a chance. And what did we?
And at the time I love the Dalton Kincaid pick now, but like at the time, dude, when they said Dalton Kincaid, I was like, dude, what the. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I knew Dalton Kincaid was going to be, like, a solid tight end, but at the time I was like, dude, what? But, honestly, when you think of it, like...
You bet your ass, as soon as that draft was over,
we
were watching him on YouTube. We were doing our homework. The second round 1 ended. I'd say a good 30, 45 minutes we spent just watching him at Utah.
Now, I was definitely praying for JSN, but I'm happy.
Oh, I wanted JSN, no doubt. JSN, Zay Flowers.
But back on track, like the reason I got into it was it's clear that the Bills want to be able to run the football more than they've been able to the last couple of years.
It's been pointed out to them by like all the fans, all the league. They're a one-dimensional team. They can only throw the ball, and when we do run the ball, it's 17.
Right, and that's
it's the last guy that we want to run the ball.
We're going into year 6 with Josh. I mean, Father Time is not on our side. Like, he's not on anybody's side.
We were just downstairs. We picked Josh Allen. He was reading out the stats. He had 735 rushing yards.
I love that he like gets the like you scroll on Twitter and Instagram. It's like, oh, Josh Allen's the first quarterback to throw like what is it, like 4,000 passing yards, 700 rushing yards or something like that. And he's the only NFL player to do it. And he's done it twice. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. But how long can he do this before he just falls apart?
Yeah,
so. They need a guy. They need to be able to run the football, and that's evident. That's what they want to do, and I think that's a big key for the Bills if they can get the run game going. And
we got the second-year guy, an elusive back who can run and receive, and just like you said, it's evident. Like, we want to run the ball. We went out and got a smash mouth, run it down your throat. 2 running backs.
So it's evident what they want to do. I think, but like what I was saying, that's one of my biggest keys to the game is if you can get the run game going, control the time of possession, and keep the Jets off the field. Because the Jets, I mean, that's a good offense that we're about to tap into here in a couple minutes. You keep them off the field, that's obviously the biggest thing. The other thing is, and this is what I'm excited about, and I hope we get a good taste of this on Monday night, is Gabe. Dude, the healthy ankle with Gabe Davis. Like, a lot of us didn't know.
I'll tell you.
Last year that Gabe Davis.
We were coming for his neck last season.
And we just didn't. We weren't aware of the fact that his ankle was just. It was a mess and it was kind of holding him back. And when you think about it, like for what he did, like Ben pointed out to me a lot last year when I would like kind of hate on him a little bit. It was like, dude, Gabe is hurt and he's putting up the numbers he's putting up now. Imagine Gabe when he's healthy. Like we seen Gabe against the Chiefs, 4 touchdowns. Nobody's ever did that besides Gabe in a playoff game. He's got the talent. And to have him healthy this year, I'm super excited about that. Like extremely excited about it.
You can tell Gabe even got sick of the noise too, because a couple months ago he actually came out public. He was on some type of podcast. Can't remember what it was. I think you know what I'm talking about. He was sick and tired of the noise. For one, he was injured. He pointed that out. clear as day, he was injured. Second, he was, like you said, he was still putting up the numbers, what he was doing. He was like the number one guy targeted downfield, 20 yards plus more.
He also said that in his press conference in training camp in Rochester.
Yeah, you got to think about it. Like, he was running on a bum ankle, and he was the most targeted wide receiver 20 plus yards down the field. And he was still putting up those numbers.
Absolutely. Let me just ask you this, like, because it's my third point on offense, that, like, what I really want to see, and that's Dalton Kincaid. I want to see his usage, and like, I'd love to kind of see how he controls the game. He's compared to Travis Kelce. Now that's a steep comparison. Like, that's something that
Might take a few years, but I can see it.
And if that's really truly the case, if he comes out and he's that talented, I'd be really happy. We obviously didn't get too much of a taste of him in the preseason. We saw a little bit.
I think they're trying to keep him.
Maybe they're trying to hold it in the bag.
They're trying to keep him as a him and the new guys.
What do you expect from Monday night? You got
Monday night, I expect us. You're saying James Cook. I expect. Well, I know, but here's what I'm talking. Here's my point. I'm expecting us to go 50-50, but in a way, I expect us to go more towards throwing the ball a lot. We got weapons on top of weapons. On paper, I think this is the best offense we've had in a long-ass time. And we've said this in years prior. And Dalton Kincaid, he only adds to it. We're talking about a tight end that can play tight end. He can play slot. And it's been known and pointed out that he can play the outside receiver, too.
Yeah.
He's just an athletic freak.
He's your X, Y, and Z.
X, Y, Z.
And that's exactly why Brandon Beane went and got him. Because he even said it. You watched the embedded. Like, you just watched how the draft played out. And they actually, traded up to get him?
Yeah, they jumped Dallas.
They jumped Dallas. So you know that they wanted him. And I think they were shocked that he fell to him. And I was not expecting the pick, but he's just not your average tight end, man. Well, and hopefully he plays like he pans out like that.
Now, we've seen this in years past, like James Cook and who's another young guy on offense that we held back a little bit, or any guy.
Really, any guy, like you're just talking about in general.
Like Kyer Elam, he's a first-round pick. He's not playing the spot like a first-round pick. Like, he's behind a sixth-round pick in Christian Benford. But it's guys like, it's Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane's way. They always do that way. So my question to you is, are they going to use Dalton Kincaid like the whole NFL world is expecting us to use Dalton Kincaid? Or do you think he's going to take it slow and have Dawson Knox mentor him for the first couple weeks, and then they're going to transform it into like a two tight end set, and then it's going to be, Dawson, here, you get one drive. Kincaid, you get two drives. Dawson, you get the next two drives.
So that's actually like a super good question in my opinion. I would say this is a different story. I think years past, you're right. McDermott holds out these rookies.
Offense and defense.
Defense, they sit.
I probably shouldn't have said offensive side only because it's not true.
And it's just all over the board. It's just always been like his nature where he holds back some of these high-touted rookies that we get in like rounds 1, 2, and 3. And I think this is a different story. All you've heard the whole offseason, you've seen it in training camp, you've seen it in the preseason, is they want to get Dalton Kincaid involved. They want to have Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid on the field because they're both unique football players. Dawson Knox is a little bit better of like the standard tight end. I mean, he's a better blocker.
He's better. I was gonna say he's got to work. Dalton's got to work on blocking, but that won't.
Yeah, but
blocking's blocking.
Like, and don't get me wrong, Dawson Knox is a very athletic tight end, but like he's not like Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid, kind of in my opinion, what was missing from Josh Allen's most successful years is that like Cole Beasley short route, like he's there for Josh, and I think Dalton Kincaid brings
the safety blanket.
I think he's that safety blanket, and we've been lacking that. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be kind of like in years past. It's gonna be the opposite. It's gonna be where Dalton Kincaid takes that role where he's in the offense a little bit more.
Okay, I respect it.
But we'll switch it over to defense a little bit. I mean, we talked about pretty much the biggest things on offense. Defense for me, get after that boy Aaron Rodgers.
They're where I pointed this out to you in weeks past, like at least 2 times. This was known a few months ago that the Jets are wearing their all whites week 1.
The white's dirty.
Make the whites dirty. I want Aaron Rodgers' white jersey to be as dark green as the Packers jerseys are. Remind him of his olden days.
Make him look like he's a Green Bay.
Make him look like he's a Green Bay Packer.
You know where this pressure begins with none other than our boy Groot. He's got to have.
I'm expecting him to have a big year.
He's got to have a big year, man. I think it's a double-digit sack season for him.
I'm right behind you.
He's got the talent around him. Like Vaughn, obviously last year we were saying like they can work off each other, and they did. Like when they were both in, they did work off of each other. But like even without Vaughn, he still has the talent around him. I mean, he has.
We had Leonard Floyd. Some people forget that we have Leonard Floyd.
It's gonna, and that'll be nice down the line. Hopefully in a couple months we're sitting on this podcast talking about like the rotation and being able to keep all three of those guys fresh, and it's just.
You know the Bills D line, they're always rotating.
Right. And so I think those two on the edge on Monday night, they need to get off hot. Like we need to get after Aaron Rodgers, maybe force him to throw the ball to a couple of deep safeties that are coming back from injuries this year. Boy, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, but hopefully they rush him into these bad throws. And
Best safety duo in the league. Don't at me.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely the best safety duo. But yeah, but my point was that those guys need to get after the quarterback enough to maybe warrant some of these bad throws and turn the ball over a little bit. And I know that's like the standard. You want to get turnovers. That's what people always talk about.
Now talk about this Bills defense. I want to get into one particular player. Taylor Rapp. So back in the offseason, Jordan Poyer, we didn't know what his situation was. Did he want to go get the last big contract before he's gone in a few years? Because he's 32. Right. Is he gonna stay in Buffalo for last ride? So essentially, before we didn't know what his plans were, we went out and signed Taylor Rapp. Now, essentially, it was known that he was going to take his spot before Jordan Poyer decided to come back with his running mate Micah Hyde. What do you expect for Taylor Rapp? I'm hearing a lot of he's going to be a linebacker with Matt Milano someplace. It's going to be three deep safeties. He's going to come down with the corners and be a Teron Johnson type of guy. I'm hearing a 4-2-5.
So here's a guy that I think can play just about every position that you named outside of obviously the defensive line. He could be potentially that little linebacker hybrid player that you got. He could be a nickel corner. He could be safety up high. I kind of, when we signed him, my initial thought was not even as a replacement for one of those guys. I kind of thought like
he's a backup.
You throw him around just about anywhere on the field, he can kind of maybe come in and play like the linebacker. Like I had that conversation with maybe you or maybe somebody else that might be his role, Taylor Rapp. I thought that's probably why we signed him, was to be a backup safety, but also maybe be out there for some linebacker packages along with Matt Milano. That being said, and I've made this evident, like super clear to you, and this is my biggest reason why I think the Jets have a chance to win the Bills, is the middle linebacker.
If I had $1 for every time this man spoke to me about the middle linebacker position, I probably wouldn't be doing the podcast with you. I'd probably be doing somebody bigger.
Yeah, this is what I need to. But my biggest thing is like, and I will admit I was a big Devin Singletary hater, but on defense I was a big Tremaine Edmonds hater. Like I was always hating on Tremaine Edmonds.
Like I said earlier in the podcast, we weren't disagreeing with a lot.
It was like only those two things.
Those two things. I love Tremaine Edmonds.
I will sit here and say now without him, I'm like, dude, there just seems like there's this big like.
I'll tell you, he had his faults. I will say that. And Josh Allen, specifically week 3 against the Bears? He went after Tremaine Edmonds that first drive.
There might have been also a little bit of like, you were my draft classmate, I'm just gonna go after you kind of thing.
Right.
That could have been quite possible.
But let's get back to the Bills roster, because he's not even on our roster anymore. He's past talk.
That's my biggest thing, is like the middle linebacker position right now is just so vacant. And they did sign Christian Kirksey, and like you told me, Christian Kirksey appears to be that guy that's going to potentially step into the
He's a practice squad guy, but only until he learns the playbook.
I got no idea who else is going to play linebacker, because I'd love it for it to be Dorian Williams, because we spent a third-round pick on him, but you hear that he's going to be more of like an outside linebacker, like Matt Milano kind of role.
Whatever made him make the roster most.
That leaves, Terrell Dodson, and then...
It's not Balen Spector anymore.
Terrell Dodson and
Terrell Bernard. Not Balen Spector. He's out of the picture. He's on IR.
I don't like either of those two guys.
You don't like Terrell Bernard or...
I like Terrell Bernard a little bit more than
Tyrell Dodson? I think you said this to me a few weeks ago about Tyrell Dodson, or maybe it was your dad, or maybe whoever. I think the Bills probably are the only defense that Tyrell Dodson can start on. He just fits. He's everything Bills. He just fits Bills' system.
Yeah, I don't think there's another roster that he could.
Not he can't step day one and go middle linebacker one.
I hope that McDermott has like coached this guy up, and it's just going to be completely different from what we've seen in the past. But that's the one thing I'm nervous about. That's like my biggest thing, and I can't look past it. It's like there's teams you can get away without having a really decent middle linebacker against, but like the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, to me,
No, he will attack. He will attack you all day in that middle of the field.
if you think a bum like me that's not in the NFL notices that there's a vacant hole in the middle of the field, do you think a Hall of Fame quarterback like Aaron Rodgers with his great wide receiver talent around him is going to also go?
He's gonna throw Miko Hardman. They got any other slot guys? It ain't gonna be Randall Cobb. That dude, he's just there because Aaron Rodgers is his best friend. But you think they have like Miko Hardman? They got some of the other guys, the other fast guys. You don't think they're gonna attack the middle of the field? They're gonna take a quick slant, like a 2-3 yard quick slant, and turn it into 20.
And they're also going to hand the ball off and try to run it attack that middle of the field.
I know I sent this to you earlier. That's yeah, I did send this to you earlier.
Well, can we talk about how deep that running back core is real quick? Like you got Brees Hall, who could definitely go play for a handful of other NFL teams and be a starter. Dalvin Cook, who obviously is one of the top running backs in the NFL. And then on top of that, Michael Carter, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, what?
Hey.
Like, damn, bro, once one's tired, it's like, all right, here comes another one. And then there's another one. And it's like, dude, you just can't. It's just like, yeah, the Bills' defensive line rotates, but imagine what the Jets' offense can do with their running backs.
Now about those running backs, on that topic, I did see earlier that Robert Saleh already said there's not going to be a pitch count or a snap count on Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook. There's no pitch count. That's what I said. Bring it on. Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, big boy Poona Ford, who I can't believe we got so late in the offseason.
That was pretty cool.
Bring it on.
So bring it on, but as you can tell, that's my one point on why I think the Jets probably will beat. Like, I fucking hate saying that. I think the Jets will probably beat the Bills, although obviously I don't want them to. It's just that I can't look past them.
I think I'm going to have to take you to the parking lot after this podcast.
That's cool. So once I come back on with a black eye, or if I even do come back on.
Shit, I was your ride up here. You might have to stay a
All right,
you might have to stay a night in the Niagara Falls.
I'll be here till week 2. That's crazy.
Let's go back to the defense real quick because I want to ask one more question on that defense. So we talked about it's no secret that before that this defense wasn't aggressive at all. And it's no secret to us. Leslie Frazier, he didn't step away from the Buffalo Bills. Let's be honest with you. He didn't step away. He quietly got fired. Let's be honest, all right? So, Sean McDermott, he's not only known for our head coach, but he was a mastermind on defense back in the Panthers days when they were contending year by year for those few years. So, how's this defense going to look? Are we going to finally see some aggressive defense, or are we just going to sit back and we're going to slouch 5 to 7 yards when we're facing a wide receiver core like T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Tyler Boyd?
Okay, that's a great topic to bring up, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's like
I'm sick of
into this while we were actually watching a couple of these preseason games.
I'm tired of us playing back and
that's
content.
And that's the amount of blitzing that we saw from this defense. Just felt
Even from the safeties.
way different. Yeah, and like you saw DeMar Hamlin do it a lot.
You saw him and Taylor Rapp switching back and forth and blitzing on each edge.
Yeah, and like so blitzing back and forth, also switching it up like they would swap from free safety to strong safety, play in and play out like in the middle of the offense breaking a huddle like that. And that's, I mean, you throw a guy out there, you switch it up like that, you blitz somebody, you blitz a different, like so you blitz off the left side, next play you might even blitz off the right side. That's stuff that I just feel like we weren't seeing with Leslie Frazier. Also, I mean, you saw the cornerback placement seemed a little bit like on like a third down seemed a little bit closer than. I mean, I'm sure we're probably having the same picture in our head that like 3rd and like 5 or whatever against the Bengals in that divisional round playoff game where we were like playing 15 yards off.
It was
It's like,
3rd and
dude,
5.
It's like, dude, what the fuck?
3rd and 5, and you're playing. Like I said, you're playing that wide receiver trio and a tight end that went absolutely bizarre against us. Hayden Hurst. He went off that game. That was one of his best games of his career, no doubt.
It's a pretty damn easy call to just be like, all right, I'm gonna get in Jamar Chase's face and just on a 3rd and 5 and just try to disrupt him a little bit instead of just letting him do whatever the hell he wants. I'm not even gonna get started because like I said, I walked out of that stadium so mad. I'd never leave games early. Left that one early. But no, I think you kind of touched on something there with the Leslie Frazier thing where he quietly got fired.
Wasn't he already getting interviewed for new jobs?
Something like that. But Moranto kind of touched on it like before the podcast, and he said something that kind of caught my eye. Is like McDermott has a way of saying the right things and doing the things very politically correct in the media.
But
And I no, and I'm gonna say I think he just didn't want the if Leslie Frazier did get fired, I just don't think he wanted that bad negative attention on the Bills. Is like, okay, we just fired our defensive coordinator. In the past, when we've had coordinator situations, it was always because the coordinator got hired and went somewhere else. And this, it's like under McDermott.
mm-hmm.
We really haven't seen where it's like, dude, you're fired. Like, and I think that would have maybe brought some bad attention to the Bills. They already had some negative attention in the offseason with the whole like Stephon Diggs stuff. Like, obviously that stuff just got like kind of debunked.
it just blows over.
I think you kind of alluded to something there. McDermott just tends to do things in a way where he feels is the most politically correct.
I'd say he's all about culture.
Yeah.
You ask every single, at least for the last few years, you talk about every Bills player, past, present, now. The first thing that comes to that they say is family.
Yeah.
They're all about culture. Every single one of them.
That's why I kind of think that's why my personal opinion is, yeah, if he got fired, they just didn't want that bad attention.
Not in the locker room.
Not in the locker room.
Because he was well liked in the locker room.
He was, but I think we
Part of that 85 Bears defense,
he
and
was a
part of that Vikings. He was a Vikings defensive coordinator.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, he was also the head coach for the Vikings for a little.
Was he?
So he spent a little bit of time as a head coach. But
All right.
You got anything else? Got anything else for me, big dog?
I think we're all talked up about the Bills versus Jets.
Well,
Because the Bills are going to beat the Jets, right?
let's just end this before I get killed. Again, shout out to Emerge, shout out to our boy Tank, shout out to Moranto. It's right behind me, man. They make this possible. Like
This was huge for us.
This is kind of like
A year ago from now, when we were first starting up, I believe it was like after our first preseason game. Dude, let's start a podcast.
Yeah.
A year from now,
here we are.
here we are. I would not expect this.
I definitely got to say thank you to those guys and for really what
I'm glad to be here.
and I'm definitely glad to be here.
Glad to be part of the family.
Happy to be a part of the family. Excited for what's in the future, and go Bills.
See you next time.
See you next week, and hopefully the Bills are winning.
Before you get your ass beat.